All right, let's get down to business today. This young lady, oh my God. As they say, she's a little piece of leather, but she's well put together. Her topic is halftime wins. Yes, I love her saying that she says about herself. She says, I'm 5 foot tall. I'm the fun size. And I adopted that. Like, oh, I like that. I wrote that down 4 or 5 times. She's always been a trailblazer. Yeah, she has. She's always been a trailblazer. She's always been right there. Her whole life is like, okay, I'll do it. Let me move here by myself. And to me, I have a lot of respect because that's what entrepreneurship is stepping out on faith and then go making it happen in real life. And say what you mean and mean what you say and get after it. And I have so much respect for her. Matter of fact, the young man that got promoted, Mr. Earl, last week, I guess she's part of his organization to help him become a regional vice president, but she's already a regional director. And without her, he would not be where he's at. Without further ado, the one and only Ms. Roxann Corralejo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. That view looks amazing and gorgeous, but it does not look like San Antonio, so we're going to have to get you out one of these days. Whatever it takes, I'm going to be working towards it. And you know it, I will. I'll be working towards it, and it'll happen one day because whatever I set my mind to, I get accomplished, mainly because of what these calls have done for me. So I want to take a second and just, I want to focus on servitude today and the way that you serve, and Mr. Jabri Clemens and everybody on this call, and how we all know that Mr. Thomas is a very successful man in and out of ACN. This is not something that he needs to do or be a part of every single day. He has people that can plug in, and he does not need to be here. But because he is here for us, he is here serving us, doing this for us, helping us develop, helping us grow. I've said it numerous times, and I will never be able to say enough how much this call has helped me. So I know it has helped you guys. And it's not just him that does these, but it's all these speakers on this call. Ms. Jocelyn Driscoll, who has openly admitted that she had some struggles and she had some stuff that was happening in her life, but she still made it on this call. She arrived at the airport early the day before to make sure she had internet to be here for us, not for her. She had stuff going on. She probably could have easily said, you know what, I can't do it. It's just life is crazy. But she arrived early. She made sure everything was good to go. She had internet, was able to do this call successfully. Or Miss Nicole Woods, who took this call from an Uber ride, traveling to the national event. She's in a car on the road. Can't even tell if she has great service or not. Or even when she was on this call, she jumped on this call, poured into us for 30 solid minutes after finding out a good friend of hers had just passed away that morning. These are people that we are learning from. These are people that are serving us. These are people that don't have to do this and could easily say, I can't do it today. This is going on. I'm not in the right mental mindset. How many of us just weren't in that right mental mindset to do a presentation and didn't want to do it, but had to? Because our team had guests on. These are people we're learning from. These are senior vice presidents, regional vice presidents, and there is a reason why they hit this position. There is a reason that they're as successful as they are, and they still will have trouble. They still will have life. They still will have issues, but guess what? They're still going to be here for all of us. And I love the fact that there's so many teams on this call that there are blurred lines. Like Mr. Thomas said, I just found out that she was on the team with a recent promotion out of Texas. And he didn't even know because the lines here are so blurred. There is no team. We are ACN, and I love that fact. So I thank all of you that serve, that pour everything into us in spite of what you have going on. I know it's difficult because sometimes for me, it's super difficult to get in that mindset, to be able to pour into other people when things might not seem to be going your way. And I kind of want to bring up something that Miss Heather Peary said that really resonated with me on Friday. And I love the fact that I'm smashed in between Jen Olson and Heather Peary. That was Friday and she's on Tuesday. These are phenomenal women and their messages always hit me. And I said last week that there's always something that I pull out for some reason. It doesn't matter who's speaking, whether they know me personally or don't know me personally, they always have something that resonates with me, that's speaking to me at that moment, at that point in my life. And what Heather said on Friday was she was talking to us that we all want that promotion. We all want to be regional directors, regional vice presidents, senior vice presidents. We work hard. We get frustrated working towards it sometimes. And we make excuses. Well, people aren't listening. My reps aren't getting qualified. I can't get them on the phone. they joined witness protection. It has nothing to do with me. We always find those excuses or those reasons. But she posed this question, and it did resonate with me, but might have made some of you guys upset. Some of you guys might have gotten defensive, because I know the old me would have gotten super defensive. I would have been like, hold up, lady, who do you think you're talking to? But she asked and she said, are you ready for it? Are you ready for that position? Are you ready to make some of these sacrifices that Mr. Al Thomas has made to be on these calls every day, or Miss Jocelyn Driscoll, or Miss Nicole Woods, or anybody that is speaking on this call? Are you ready to lead, whether you're at a senior vice president level and only have one active person on your team? Can you handle something like that? Because some people might think that's failure and quit. Can you take that? Or can you be an executive team leader that all of a sudden had 30, 40, 50, 100 people join their team? Are you able to handle something like that? That's what these calls are preparing us for. These calls are making sure we are in that right mental mindset to make sure that we can fulfill those roles, because it doesn't matter how hard we're working. It doesn't matter how hard we want it. What matters is, are you ready to fulfill that role? So thank you, Heather, because that had came right on time for me. And just the day before, I actually told her, and I added something to the background of my phone just the day prior to that. And it says, there is no need to rush. What's meant for you always arrives on time. And there's a reason why I added that before even hearing her speak, is because I'm a very, I like things quick. I'm a very impulsive person. I give everything I have right off the bat. Something comes my way and I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's give it my all. Let's go for it. I am so impulsive. Sometimes I forget to wait. And I needed to remind myself that just a few days ago, like, it's okay. I don't need to be from 0 to 100 like that, because it's not going to work that way. You're not going to build that structure, that infrastructure, that foundation. The roots, what she was talking about, you're not going to build it instantly. And because I'm so impulsive, some of those times I do have to remind myself, and sometimes you do too, but it's because we're in this society of that, those instant results. Everybody wants to get rich quick. Those instant results, that microwave society. For me, I kind of relate it to, and I still do this to this day, and it's so frustrating to me because I know that sometimes I'm working so hard, I forget to eat. I know it sounds crazy. No tacos in my life for that day. I'm just going. I get home, I'm exhausted. I like to eat healthy. I do not like all those preservatives, high sodium, anything, those quick meals. I really don't buy them really at all. But the only thing I do buy, since I have when I was younger, throughout my entire life, I will always have a cup of noodles at home. When I am hungry and I need a snack, that thing, I will always have it. Why? Because it's easy, it's quick. Everybody can do it. From a 10-year-old, my niece can make her own cup of noodles. Those instructions are so stinking easy that most of us have not even read the instructions. Who here has honestly read the instructions on a cup of noodle? Anybody? A cup? One, two, have read those instructions. What do the instructions say? They say boil water, have boiling water, pour it into your cup, and wait 3 minutes. Now I'm going to ask another question. Who has actually boiled water? One person, 2 people maybe have boiled water for their cup of noodle, right? For their cup of noodle, nobody ever does that. I don't do it. I read the instructions. I know how to make it, but heck no. It takes too long to boil water. Are you kidding me? It's just a couple minutes. But what do? We pour water to the fill line, and then we put it in the microwave. In red, right on top, it says what? Do not microwave. But every single person I know that has ever made a cup of noodle has poured water and thrown it in the microwave. You don't know how long, because there are no microwave instructions on there, but you throw it in, and all of a sudden a minute goes by and you open it up. You're like, is it hot enough yet? You stick your finger in it. Oh, it's not hot enough yet. Close the door. Put it in for another 30 seconds. It has to be hot enough now. You open it, put your finger in it. It's not hot enough. Try this again. Throw it in. Another 30 seconds go by. It was beep, beep, beep. You waited. Yes, finally. Stick your finger in it, and you're like, son of a, that sucker is hot. That's why the instructions say pour the boiling water into the cup. You already know it's hot enough. So then you're sitting there and you're waiting. You put a fork over it and you have to wait the 3 minutes. But a minute goes by, you're hungry, you're tired, you're exhausted. You lift up that lid, you try to stir it, and guess what? It's super hard. It's not ready to eat. Why? Because you didn't wait the 3 minutes. And when I say you, I'm talking to me. This is me every single time. It never fails. And then you put that lid back on, you put the fork back on it, and you wait again. And then you check it again. And you know what? I don't even care. And you start eating those noodles, and guess what? They're a little crunchy. They are not ready to eat, yet you're still eating them. Why? Because we want things so quickly. We want things at our time. And let me tell you, the more you try to get things in your timeline, in your time frame, they're not going to come to you that quickly. And they're going to be even more frustrating to get there. It's so much harder when you do not take the time to build that structure, that infrastructure that we need. So after that, I want to talk about when we're talking about serving other people. So I know every time I at least do these, we have homework. I know Heather gave us homework, and I don't know how many of us have ever completed the homework that was given to us. But as long our leaders serve us, so we need to serve them as well. And I know there was one conversation, this was a few months back, and I messaged Mr. Thomas right away, but he said that he challenged everybody that before the next call to go out and check out $1 million home. Sign up to do a walkthrough, to do what do they call the open houses of $1 million home, just so that you can see. And that's exactly what he's doing this contest for, just so you can see that life, because sometimes we can't see it. We don't know. Sometimes our dreams and our goals will take us a lot further than we can ever have imagined. If you can imagine it, if you can see it, it's not big enough. And that is exactly why, and I know it's exactly why he's doing this competition for us, so we can see what that lifestyle looks like, so we know that it's obtainable, that we can hold it in our hands. So this was one of the things that he told us to do. And I don't know how many of us on this call that actually did it, but I always do the homework. I say, all right, they take the time to put this together, let's go do it. Instantly, as soon as we hang up, I'm messaging a real estate agent of mine, a friend of mine, and I said, I need to take a look at $1 million home. What do you have for me? Let's show me some open houses. She sent me some addresses and stuff, but I went beyond that. I was so excited, and I was looking at some stuff, some homes, and I found a $5 million home, and I'm like, hey, why not? Let's go check out this $5 million home. And I live in Texas, so housing market in Texas is a lot different than housing market in California. So imagine what a $5 million home looks like in Texas. It definitely, a $5 million home in California could be probably the size of most people's homes in Texas. But a $5 million home is massive, tons of property, all kinds of stuff going on. But guess what I did? I did a step further, and I said, okay, this is fantastic. I love this house. It's gorgeous. It's way too big for me, but who cares? If it's something I can attain, why not? Why not turn this into a venue? Why not turn this into an asset later on? So my wheels are already turning. That's exactly what he wanted us to do in this homework. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I can turn this into a venue. People can have weddings here. This is such a great property. Let's take a look at what a loan like this is going to look like. Let's take a look at what that down payment is going to look like. And I did the math, and I figured out what those monthly payments are going to look like. How many of you have actually gone out and done that? How many of you have taken notes? I have countless notes from all these calls. And Mr. Thomas says, yeah, I've done it. I've been there. I've done it, of course. And look at the life that he's living. Let's go out there and let's do these homeworks. So one of them I had asked, and I actually wanted to touch on something real quick. Oh, okay. So I know that sometimes these things are a little frustrating, and I kind of want to go back and let's look at where we are now. Sometimes we are in that state and we don't know how to get out of it. But you want to know one of the hardest place to be sometimes, the hardest place to be is front row, center, in plain sight. So I see all these faces on here, and every week, every day, we're front row, center. I know some of these faces, and I know some of you have never met in person, but I know you more than some of the people that I talk to on the phone, just because I see you every single day, and your reactions, how you react to people, how you respond, how you're raising your hand, how you're being involved, how you're in chats. And sometimes people are just in that front row, and they're there. But you know what? They're hidden in plain sight. That sometimes is the hardest place to be, because you want to be speaking on this call. You want to be up front. But guess what? Sometimes that is the most rewarding place to be, is in the front row, hidden in plain sight. Because this is where you're learning. This is where you're growing. This is where we are developing. And in that process, we have to trust that process. Trusting the process is hard. Sometimes again, it's not on our timeline, so it's very difficult, and we tend to fall off, and we tend to give up. And the only way to fail is by giving up. So please stay in that front row, stay listening, stay developing, because during that process, as we trust the process, stuff falls off. What holds us back is not anything or anyone else other than us. And what falls off are those fears. those doubts, those excuses that you make, like, oh my gosh, sometimes my team just isn't listening to me. That's an excuse, you guys. There's a way around that. Way around that is build a new team. Show them other people are doing it. There are solutions. And being in that front row, absorbing everything is where we gain those solutions, and where all that doubt, that fear, those excuses, everything falls off. That puts you in that position. And once we're in that position, it seems like everything happens, everything is repositioned in an instant. I can tell you because it happened to me. I've been working so hard, and I've been trying to do as much as I can, and I've been the front of my business for so long, and I decided to take a step back, and I said, no, I'm going to start promoting some of these leaders, start serving these leaders instead of telling them what we need to get done. We need to have these many recs a week. We need to have these people qualified by this date. We need this, we need that. I started saying, what can I do to help you? Do you know how many points your leaders have in your business? Do you know exactly where they stand? If you don't, then how are you to serve them? How are you able to help your team? So instead I started asking, okay, I see so-and-so isn't qualified. What can I do to help? All the time when I get on the phone with Douglas Soto has no problem reaching for help, because I never tell him what needs to be done. I tell him, hey, how can I help? What can we do to talk to this person? How can we do this? And a lot of his team is Spanish speaking, so I can't help. But I ask him, what can I do? And he tells me, hey, can you do this? Will I do this? Can you do this? Will I do this? He is someone in my organization, yet I'm here to serve him. So I am here to see where he needs help, not tell him, because he obviously knows. Douglas Soto has been in this business for so long. He knows what he needs. And I'm that type of person. If someone tells me what I need to do, and I'm like, no, I know what I need to do. You aren't anyone to tell me what I need. So that is why I propose that question. How can I help? So sometimes hidden in plain sight, serving your team, that is what's going to change everything so quickly, because when your time is right, and your time will come when you are ready for it to come. So please do not push it. I know it's frustrating sometimes, but you just got to take it all in and continue to grow yourself. So back to the homework question. When we're talking about homework, I had asked about one, how many points you have in your business and how many more you needed to go. We needed to talk about set a goal. That's what setting that goal was. Talking about where you needed to be. And in the second week, we talk about putting a plan together. Well, that involves your team too. We sometimes, when we get frustrated and things aren't going the way we want it to go, you think, oh, just forget about it. I'm going to do it all myself. So you focus all about you and all about your business. And guess what? Everybody else on your team gets left behind. But that's your business you're leaving behind. You can't do that. We can't build on our own. We can, but we don't want to. We have people that followed us for a reason, and let's help them grow. So now you got to figure out, all right, well, where does my team sit? How do I get them to the next position? Not what they need to get there, but how can I help them get there? How do I help them receive their next promotion, receive their next check, whatever it is that they need? And it's not what you want them to have. So many times I'm proposed with that question where people say, I can't get them qualified. I'm telling them this is the only way to get their money back, the only way to get their money back, the only way to get their money back. A lot of people in my life, if they give up $200, they don't care about getting $200 back. That is not the proper way to talk to some people. So you have to take a look at yourself and stop saying, let's get your money back. Figure out what it is that they want, what it is that they're looking for, more time with their kids. Hey, let's build this, because if you build it, you know those 3 people that we just got in, they're going to do the same thing you do. That's how you're going to get your time freedom back. That's how you're going to spend more time with your daughter, more time with your kids. So we're going to need to listen to them. That is part of serving other people, is listening to them. And some people think, oh man, no, I've hit this position. I've already been there. I'm a regional director. I'm a regional vice president. I have been told before that, oh no, that is not my job. I'm way beyond that. Are you kidding me? Any leader is not beyond the basics. Kobe Bryant, go back to the basics. He is one of the greats, and he always said you have to go back to the basics. No leader is beyond anything. If it's helping someone acquire a 1-point spectrum customer, you're going to help them acquire a 1-point spectrum customer. Whatever it is, maybe it's just telling them where to go to find the answer. Sometimes that's the help they need. So the homework I want to focus on today is to reach out to your team. First, we talked about what it is that we need to get you there, what you have to do for yourself. But now, what is it that you have to do for your team? Know exactly where your team stands. Know exactly what's going on in their business. I have been on a Midnight Madness call where someone was asking about qualifications in someone else's business and they said, oh, I don't know, I need to ask this person. Wait a minute, this is your business. How do you not already know what's happening in it? Well, they're the ETLs, they're the ones working it, or they're the regional coordinators, they're their prospects, they're on your team. So figure out what your team needs to help you get there. If you don't know how many new reps they have, if you have not made a phone call to every single new rep that you have on your team just to say hello. I've done that to a prospect. I had no involvement in the presentation whatsoever, but I know a presentation was done because it happened in my organization. And I said, fantastic, I love to get on a three-way call just to introduce myself to them. I did that, and the rep on the phone that wasn't directly related to me, but the rep on the phone that says, oh my gosh, I appreciate you so much. That 5-minute conversation, I learned so much, because what you're doing is teaching them how to lead three-way calls now. So make sure you are involved in your business. You know exactly what's going on. So that is the homework I have for you guys today, is reach out to your reps and just see how they're doing. It doesn't even have to be about business. See what's going on in their lives, because sometimes you just don't know because you haven't talked to them in weeks. Why? Because they haven't reached out to you. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. Reach out to them. By doing that, by serving other people, your time will come. And I promise you, every single person on this call is destined for greatness. It's not going to be on your time. It's not going to be on your timeline at all. It doesn't matter the distance, but it will happen in an instant. And I want to make sure you guys are ready for it. Think about it. Are you ready? And how can you get ready? Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. I'm going to go ahead and turn the call back over to you. I appreciate you so much.